Seems like I haven't talked to you guys in a very long time, and I have a feeling that's true. Well, today I'm going to be going over my Williams College supplemental essay that got me into Williams and how you can use this essay to help you get into Williams as well. So, without further ado, let's get started. Wow, I really don't know what to say. It's been so long since I made a YouTube video. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Walter. I'm a sophomore at Only College. I guess I can start saying that because I actually don't go to Williams, disclaimer. But yeah, it's you'll see what I mean. But today I'm going to be sharing with you guys the essay or the supplemental essay that got me into Williams. Believe it or not, I applied to Williams thinking that I wasn't going to get in. So things can happen, miracles can happen. So if I can get in, you can definitely get in. If you want to know what my stats were and all this other stuff, I have a video on my channel explaining my stats, and you can definitely go check that out if you want a little more of a breakdown of how I was as a student academically. But the writing portion is definitely something that I think made me stand out and something that I definitely worked on and got a lot of help from my older sister. So I think that it's a very key component to everyone's application. So writing it well is very crucial and important. So I guess I'll just go right into it. I go to a purely engineering school right now, and it's really funny because thinking about applying to Williams, you would think that I'd go to a liberal arts college, but Olin College of Engineering is actually specialized in just engineering. You do have options to study Oz classes, which are arts, humanities, and science classes as well, and entrepreneurship, but I go to a pure engineering school. And you might be thinking, well, why are you taking advice? Why are you here on this video? If an engineering student is going to be explaining how they got into Williams, well, it just goes to show that anyone can really apply, and whether you have intention of being an engineer, or whether you have an intention of being something else and go explore out in liberal arts, you can pretty much get into Williams, because what they're looking for at Williams is something about you. They want to see if you're a great match for them. And sometimes you don't know what you really want before college, and that's totally okay. Some places make you choose, right? And they make you kind of gear towards that, but other places like Williams specifically don't really make you choose something. And that's something I found really nice about it. I didn't think I was gonna get in, but something that I found really nice. And part of the reason why I took this supplement as a way to really express that. Now, I just looked it up, and Williams actually changed their supplement, so they don't have this exact question for this year's cohort, or the 2021 application year, but you can use this question as a way of sort of explaining and use it as a guide for you to show your story, what you want to tell Williams through an optional writing sample. So I guess I can just get started with it then. Let me just pull it up right here. Wow, I haven't read my essay in so long. So the supplement is around 300 words, and my prompt that I chose for 2019 to 2020 was each Sunday night, in a tradition called Storytime, students... Oh my god, I can't even read. Let's start that again. Each Sunday night, in a tradition called Storytime, students, faculty, and staff gather to hear a fellow community member relate a brief story from their life, and to munch on the storyteller's favorite homemade cookies. What story would you share? What lessons have you drawn from that story, and how would those lessons inform your time at Williams? So I just skimmed my essay, and I wrote about my 7th grade, and I wrote about how my parents were being evicted from our apartment in Brooklyn, and we had to find a home. And at that time I was in a really weird place because I had switched schools to a better school in a way than my zone school. And I was at an academic disadvantage, and I had a lot to catch up on, and I was just very confused, and all this other stuff that I explained in this essay, but I don't really say that word for word. So it goes like this. 12:05 a.m. I overslept. My jammers hung in the bathroom, drying up for another day's use. My feet felt like ice blocks, but nothing could be done. The new landlord had limited the heat in our apartment due to the eviction. I was lucky if I finished my homework before 4 a.m. Oftentimes I felt dumb. I wish I had never transferred schools in the first place. Taking a 2-hour commute in the morning to a school that was heavily populated with very few students who looked like me was not the highlight of my day, especially when they were at a higher academic level than I had been at my old middle school. I was teased for wearing clothing that cost 3 times less than they had on. Traveling to my swim team practice was the only time I felt confident. Getting home around 9 p.m. after a gruesome 2-hour practice was excruciating, and my day would start over this same way, 5 out of 7 days of the week. My 7th grade year taught me one key lesson. You are what you put into yourself. Even as a high school senior, I often wonder how it is I was able to overcome that challenge and adapt myself to the circumstances present. However, I know my parents' eviction, the bullying, and the utter feeling of confusion in my classroom have made me stronger not only as a student, but as a Latino male committed to initiate change in this community. I firmly believe the drive and self-motivation I gain from this memory will not only translate into my classes at Williams, but it will also help me encourage other students to challenge themselves and face adversity. So, this essay was, I forget how many words this is. Google Drive, why are you doing this to me? This essay was 292 words, just right beneath the 300 word limit. And it's very important that when you end up writing your supplements, or if you decide to write your supplement, it's okay if you go overboard that first time. It's all about putting it all out there and then really cutting down. Because if you write less, you really limit yourself to just writing that little bit. But if you have a lot, you can end up cutting it down or mixing things, combining things. So that's something that's really cool, to be honest. And I think that's the best way to go about this supplement. But as you can see, I wrote about my time where my family had gone through like an eviction in Brooklyn, and we were looking for a new house, and my swim team practice was in Manhattan, which took me 2 hours to get from the old apartment to the new one. And I remember writing about how I used to sleep on a mattress on a floor, and I used to sleep in the hallway sometimes because I didn't have a room. I didn't have a room, and I used to do my homework in the kitchen at like 12, and I used to take naps actually between 10 to 12, and then wake up from 12 to 1, do homework, and then 1 to 2 nap, and then 2 to 3 in the morning, or 2 to 4. I would just be on that schedule for as long as I could because I just had a lot of homework at the time, for me at least, because I wasn't used to it. So I ended up writing about a lot of that, and I didn't show that other part, like what I just talked about, but the main gist, like something that really pops out, I think, in this essay for me is the fact that I wrote about those little things in my day that kind of just like boom, boom, boom. They're like pins that you can connect lines to, and you can connect really the emotions, and like it's a story really. Essays are really stories in the application, in the college process application. And so it's really important that you tell your story the best way and in the shortest way possible. I think that I really used a lot of imagery. I used a lot of, I haven't said these words in a long time. I've just been thinking about OCaml and like all this programming language, but I really use a lot of imagery, very simple sentences. You know, it's something that you just want to get your point across, and you want to sound very much in a reflectionary state and an introspective state. But it's all about really looking back and reflecting, and then using that to really explain and express your story. So I would highly recommend, you know, listen to this essay one more time, really think about what it is you're trying to say. And I know the prompts are slightly different this year, but still, you still have a story to tell. You are still a student that wants to be a part of this Williams community, and they want to know why. And if you have a story that you feel like will wow people, and if you don't, that's okay, but really, if you're able to express whatever story it is that you think that is important, and that's worth exploring, and that's worth talking about in your essay. So, yeah. Well, that's it for today's video, I guess. So it's a really short one. I don't really know how I'm going to go about the other ones like USC, but I have a data science class in 3 minutes, so I should probably head out and blast. But if you guys enjoyed it, if you guys liked it, please leave a like down below. Comment if you're struggling. You know, a lot of people out there are struggling. I remember I struggled a lot. It was a lot of work. But let's all stay as a community. I'm constantly adapting, constantly trying to learn, and I feel like that's something that you end up realizing in college. And right now in high school, writing all these stories, you'll learn to adapt and really think about what more is there, what else can I do? And that's just something that's beautiful. So have a great one out there, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh my god!